Hello, and thank you for joining the Walt Weekly. This is Walter Latham, and I'm here with Bridget Stokes, our co-host, and we have a very, very special guest that's returning today, and his name is Paul Lamar. My grandson's middle name is Lamar also, and his last name is Hunt. We want to welcome Paul Lamar Hunt to the Walt Weekly podcast. Hello, Paul.
Hey, thank you, Walter, for having me on. My name is Paul Lamar Hunter, and I am the 19th child. Yes, and I'm the 19th child out of 21 natural children that my mom birthed by my dad.
Well, we're going to get to that. We're going to get to that part. I don't want you to jump ahead of me. We're going to get to that part. And I want to tell the audience, y'all guys got a lot. There's going to be a lot of little surprises in this episode. First off, Paul, we got the interview that we did with you regarding you being one of 19 out of 21 kids that your parents had. We got a separate episode that we wrapped. And I was getting ready to release it. And then my co-host said, "Did you see his hat?" And I look up there and I see, just like what you got on now, Trump is 2-0 against women. You got a Trump hat on, man. I was so surprised because to release that episode goes definitely against the grain of our mission as the Walt Weekly, helping our black community. And I don't see anything even remotely from you that's going to help the black community. But we're going to get to that because we're going to talk about it because I need to know. One, do you still support Trump right now?
Most definitely. Walter, I have to be transparent and honest throughout this interview.
I hope so.
I have always been a Democrat all my life. I'm 54 years old. I always voted Democrat. This was the first time that I made a conscious decision, and I put my critical thinking skills to work, and I made the decision to vote for Donald Laquavius Trump as
Laquavius? I thought it was Donald John Trump. Why you give him a black name?
Well, because he's a brother. This man is a
Donald Trump's a
brother. This man is a phenomenon in the black community. We love Donald Laquavius Trump because he's our first black president to represent the inner city, to represent the hood, to represent the represent the ghetto.
What I'm gonna do is that when you're on my show, it's just like being in my house, and I want to give you all due respect, my friend. Okay.
Yes.
So when you say Donald Laquavius Trump, what did Laquavius? Because he's giving you some indication that he's a brother. They used to say that about Bill Clinton.
Oh, Bill Clinton, slick Bill Clinton. All Bill Clinton wanted to do is sleep around. Bill Clinton was never the first black president. Also, Barack Obama was never the first black president. We call Barack Obama in the inner city, we call him Tidy Whitey because he never did represent us whatsoever. This man, Donald J. Trump, he represents us. He represents the black community. Let me say this about Donald Trump. All right.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm going to give you, go ahead.
And I know that a lot of Democrats are upset because there was... This is not a
Democratic issue. This is not a Democrat nor Republican issue.
No, but a lot of Democrats, I'm being honest and transparent, a lot of Democrats, and especially females, black females were very upset because of the high percentage of African-American men, Hispanic men, Cuban men, people of color voted for Donald Trump. Listen, we wanted change. We wanted transparency. We did not like the way the Biden administration was going forward. So when you say
Biden administration, now Kamala Harris was Kamala. She was the one running.
Yes, she was the one that was running. But they made some switches. First it was Biden. Then Biden dropped out. Now Kamala had came in. So when Kamala came in, we looked at Kamala Harris' record. All right. Had an affair with Willie Brown, former mayor of San Francisco.
But
And we
Trump used to
believe,
grab him by the pussy, right? That's what he did, right?
yeah. Listen, Trump has some sins, all right. But Kamala, we
He had some
believe what,
sins. He's still
yes,
sitting. But go
yes.
ahead, my friend.
But Kamala, what she did to the people out in California, not only as a prosecutor, but she worked her way. Well, I should say she slept her way to the top to
How
become
do you
the
know that,
attorney
though? Those are
general.
rumors.
Well, I tell you what, you don't get that far by just being smart. And she has a very low IQ. So she's also detached from the inner city. So when I say she has a very low IQ, what I mean is that she is detached from the people from the inner city.
Oh,
We
but she
feel
didn't grow
more,
up in the inner city, did she?
no, she never did.
All right, so
We feel more comfortable with Donald Trump than with
we.
her.
All right, but
Yes.
only okay. Let me back up a little bit and just bring a few stats out. Okay, 20% of black men voted for Trump.
And
20%. That's 1 out of 5. So
yes.
you in that 20.
I say,
Okay.
I disagree with you. I would say
Well,
the
I mean
latest
that's what the
numbers that I
stats
looked
say.
at, it says that it was 27
Nope,
percent.
nope. In 2024, the election, around 20% of black men voted for Trump, which was a notable increase from the previous years, where 13% supported him in 2016.
Okay.
All right, and then recent polls in 2025 show mixed trends. Early in the year, Trump saw a surge in black male support. Why is that, you think?
Kamala agenda did not fit our agenda whatsoever. She was more toward promoting women rights. She did not add anything in her policies regarding men, especially African American men. And we have been neglected ever since black women, goes all the way back to the 60s, decided to take welfare over family. So they
Wait a minute,
neglected
could you
the
repeat that welfare part? Could you just repeat that for me, please?
black women in the 60s decided to take welfare over the black family, meaning that they were able to receive benefits from the state, but the black male was not allowed to enter the home.
All right,
So
can I just back up a little bit? Because I think that I could possibly educate you a little bit on what happened back then in terms of welfare, black women getting welfare. I think you may have heard that argument before, but I think it's very, very
I
true.
did. I did heard
All
the
right,
argument, and I also did my research.
that it was an initiative by the government to split
Yes,
the black family.
yes,
Okay,
and it
and to
destroyed the
do
black
that
family.
was to discourage them being together, to give the mother welfare benefits, and then all of a sudden, 20 years later or 15 years later, they said, "Oh, we got to get people off welfare." They initiated it.
Yes, they did,
Okay,
but
they initiated welfare to split the black
Walter,
family.
it
Yes.
destroyed the black community. You have to agree
What?
with that.
What's
It
that?
destroyed the black community. Anytime you take the head of the house, the man out of the home, it's going to make the woman weak because
Yeah, but
women
who
were never
initiated it, Paul?
intended. Yeah,
Whose strategy was that,
we
Paul? Whose
we
strategy was that to alienate or to split the black family, the man and the woman?
it was the government, but the
All
woman
right,
had a choice. The woman
so
had a choice.
what do you mean? The women, they don't know anything like. I mean, how can they know? One, they got kids, and the man, they push the man out of the house, and they got to feed these kids, and the government comes to the rescue. So that's what happens. And then they couldn't wean themselves off because it became generational. Once you got on welfare, you could never come off of it because they made it too attractive to come off
Yes,
of.
yes, they did. But the fact is, there are generational curses that had continued, and now it's time to stop it. It's time for us to go back into our inner city and build men and women up and let them know that there is a better life out in society for them.
But you get the impression that everybody, but do you think what's the percentage of black people you think are on welfare?
In my estimation, I would say
Yeah.
probably at least about 3 to 4%.
Oh, 3 to 4% is not bad out of 48 million, right?
Yes.
So you
yes.
got 3%. How many percent of white people are on welfare?
I would have to say in the 60s, the high 60s. So those
60% of white people on welfare?
Yeah. I'm talking about, yes. I would say 60, in the 60 range, but those what you call entitlement programs. Wouldn't you
Welfare is
agree?
entitlement.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Social Security is entitlement.
Yes, it is.
But Social Security is, when we put the money in, they take it out of our check. So I don't see that as an entitlement. I see that as getting the money back that I put in.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
But they call it entitlement as well. So you have your politicians would say that, hey, this is an entitlement program.
Okay. All right. So Lamar, let's back up a little bit now.
Yes.
I want to know, and I think you gave me the answer to this already, but what inspired you to be a Republican?
Well, let me be abundantly clear. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. I am Paul Lamar Hunter. This was just my first time voting for the first black president, Donald Laquavius Trump. Well, you would disagree with me. Well, I tell you what, this man acts like a black man. This man walks like a black man. What about the
Central Park Five? Did he act like a black man when the Central Park about the Central Park Five?
I'm glad. I am delighted that you brought up the Central Park Five because you know what, Walter? Donald Trump was a citizen. Donald Trump was a registered Democrat when he made those statements.
He was a registered Democrat when he made those statements?
Yes, he was. Yes, he was.
Go back and check.
He was a citizen.
Republican, but if you're racist, it doesn't matter.
But no, why are people keep calling this man a racist? I tell you what, there are some things that Republicans have said. There's some things that Democrats have said, but you never call out Democrats for being racist. You quick to call out the racists in the Republicans. It was the Democrats that started the KKK, Walter. Why don't you call them out for that?
Oh, okay. While we're on that topic, real quick, do you think the KKK is a terrorist organization?
In my opinion, well, the way they got it set up.
Yes or no?
The way they got it set up, they got it set up as a non-profit organization. That's the way they have it set up. The KKK
is a terrorist organization.
Walter, it is set up as a non-profit organization. That's the way they got it set up.
Okay, well, they got it set up, but what is it? Is it a terrorist organization or not? They burned crosses on people's lawns. They hung black people. They intimidated black people. They scared black people from the polls. That's Jim Crow. Are you familiar with Jim Crow?
I am familiar with Jim Crow. You are absolutely right.
Disappeared?
And I'm going to be abundantly clear. Yes, the KKK should be labeled a terrorist organization.
Okay. All right. At least you're willing to listen. You know? Okay. All right, Paul. Good. All right. Do you think? Now I'm gonna go back to politics and policy here a little bit.
Yes.
Do you think that your upbringing had anything to do with your choices now in terms of, you're voting for a party that is a biased and racist party, such as the Republicans?
Walter, there you go.
But just give me just an honest answer. You can just say,
Walter, there you go again, taking shots at the Republican Party. If you're going to take shots at the Republican Party, I advise you to do your research, and also
I got my research right here.
Once you conclude,
I have already concluded
with the information. You need to take shots at the Democratic Party as well.
Shots at the only shots I'm taking at the Democratic Party now is they're not fighting back.
They can't fight back. They always been weak. They always been weak, and what they are a bunch of elitists. Ever since we made that decision to elect tidy whitey Barack Obama, this country has gone down. It was a failure under his leadership. That's the reason why.
So you think that the election of President Obama was the beginning of a downslide for the American? When he came in, we were in the Great Recession. We were in the Great Recession. I was directly impacted from it. Okay, the Great Recession, 2007, 8, and 9. Okay, when he was elected in 2008, we were in a deep recession. We had companies going
I
out of
remember
business.
that
All your
clearly.
your large automotive companies, such as GE and Ford, and all, even though Ford didn't take the loan, but the other ones did.
Even Chrysler.
He went against Republicans and arranged to give them bridge loans, all right, to the car manufacturers. He gave them bridge loans against, and it was opposed by the Republicans. It was opposed by them. He gave the car companies bridge loans, and then once they got back, they paid the government back with interest. And the Republicans were staunchly opposed to it because you know what they used to say?
What's up?
In a free enterprise society, if a business runs into difficulty, that business should go out of business. That was their rationale back then in 2008, 9, and 10. They did not want these car companies to get loans from the government. But President Obama had the foresight and the vision, all right, to do so. Okay, and he also had he had a number of people in Congress. He had the Congress that helped him push it through. But if it was a Republican Congress, now they would have helped them right now under Donald Trump. Donald Trump would have helped those corporations because he's doing it now with Intel.
Well, you got to understand.
He's taking a 10% stake in Intel.
Well, this is a different administration compared to Barack Obama administration. And my belief...
I'm not going to sit here and argue who was a better president, whether the President Obama, which I think everybody knows, or is this guy, the tariff, TACO. You know what TACO stands for, right?
Yes, I do. But let me say this.
Trump always chickens out because that's what he is. He's not a man. He's a coward, man.
Man, Trump was born...
You'll see that. You're going to see it. Look, you know what? I was so proud that my kids, that they could take, and I'll use an example for you. Bush Cheney against Gore and whoever his running partner was back then, 2000. That my youngest son, was a Bush Cheney guy. And he had a stick on the back of his car. I asked him to explain to me why, but it made sense, okay, from his perspective. I didn't discourage him. I was proud that he was an independent thinker. Mm-hmm. But when you got somebody like Trump, all right, that's telling schools what to teach, he's doing everything to pick on people. Every hour of the day, there's some drama coming from this guy. And now let's talk about the big, what is it? The big, beautiful bill?
The big beautiful bill.
Yeah, I want to talk about that. When they get out, I want to see, would you vote for that if you were in Congress?
To be honest with you, most definitely. I know that I come from the inner city. I know that I had experienced some hardship under my mother and also under my father as well. But especially when it comes to food stamps. I don't think food stamps should be passed down from generation to generation. It is created to get by, and you have to find you a job so that way you can get off of these benefits.
Well, a lot of people on food stamps work. They just don't make enough money.
Yeah, there's some that do not make enough money. But hey, let's do this. Let's create a program like Trump created a program, Ready to Work program, which is great. Let's get
Ready
them.
to Work program. Explain that to me, please.
Ready to Work is a program designed that if you want to go back and get you a certification, especially if guys coming out of prison, coming out of jail, does not matter, does not discriminate, but you can go and get you a trade. There's nothing wrong with
Where is that? How do people join that program or get into that program? Because
you can call any of your cities, like the city of San Antonio. They implemented Ready to Work program.
That could be a city of San Antonio. That may be a state.
But they no. They get no. Yeah. It's a federal program, but it's implemented through the state. Every state does this.
I'm going to check on that.
Yes, you need to check on it. But Walter,
I never heard of it.
But Walter, let me say this: we need to have our inner city children, adults, get re-educated, get recertified. There's nothing wrong with being a plumber. There's nothing wrong with being an electrician. There's nothing wrong with going and get you a trade like cybersecurity.
I agree with
Those
you
are
100%.
those are good trades. I got a buddy came out of the army, struggling trying to find a job. Finally got him a job making $16 an hour. But guess what he did? He registered into the ready to work program, completed it within 9 months. Now he making $150,000 a year as a cybersecurity.
We need to get into those jobs. Plumbers, electricians, those are very lucrative jobs. And once you get into them.
Yes. Now I remember when
they block everything because of apprenticeship and stuff like that. They block black people from getting into those trades.
Yeah, I remember when I was
they don't want to. I mean, do you understand how that works, though? Becoming a plumber or electrician, you know how that works?
Yes, I do. But let me say this: when I was in middle school, and went into high school, those trades were there for us in high school, but they took them out. They need to bring them back to the high school.
They need to bring those back to the high school.
They need to bring them back because let's be real. Some people. And your audience might agree with me, and some would disagree with me. There are some people are just not built for college. You understand that?
Yeah,
I'm not
know that.
built.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So if you get you a certificate, you can make money. You can make a living wage. So the big, beautiful bill, yes, there's some things that needs to be cut, but I want people to understand, especially the ones that's on housing. Your housing, the government should not take care of you forever. You use that
I don't
as
know
a
where these
stepping
people
stone.
are talking about that, man. I really don't.
Okay. For example,
I've been in New York 40 years. My family, nobody in my family ever been on welfare. Where I come from, if you want welfare, we look down at people on welfare. I couldn't associate with people on welfare. Okay?
Oh, wow.
So, when you make that type of statement, is it generalization or is that only specific to the
Well, I'll tell you what, Walter, you need to get out your bubble and you will discover you will discover that if you go into the inner city, there's a lot of people that's on housing. There's a lot of people that receive EBT. My job is not to tear them down. My job is to build them up. So
I understand that, but you're going to keep them down with voting for people like Trump. Because you know what? Trump does not want to see a dark face near him. Okay, you cannot. Now look at his cabinet. How many black faces up there? When you look at the meetings that he have, how many black faces? One.
It does not matter.
Okay,
it does not matter, Walter.
Representation matters. Representation
no, it does not. I tell you what, Walter. I tell you what. If the Trump administration called me for a job, I would take that job in a heartbeat.
Yeah, because what are you gonna do? What else you gonna do? You support him already, so you would take that job. If I were you. One out of 5 black guys voted for Trump. If I was you, I would send him an email and say, look, I need a job.
But I don't need a job,
I support you 100%. No. And then ask him whether he's going to give you a job. He doesn't want to see you. Paul, he will not even shake your hand.
I really can't say, but I will say this. I'm working on something real big, Walter. And believe me, I'm going to have my opportunity to sit down with President Trump. And I'm going to let President Trump look at this interview of what you have said and other people have said.
Yeah, let him.
And I'm going to have him address those concerns that you have.
All right. Yeah. I want him to look at this interview. I hope he does. I hope he
because it seems like
because I've been talking bad about this guy for 7-8 years almost.
I know that, and you act like you are part of the View. Them wackos over there at the View. So
what View? What is that? What is the View?
The View, the talk show, the View with Whoopi Goldberg.
I don't watch it. I don't watch it.
Thank God. Hey, there's my friend Bridget. Hey, Bridget, how are you?
Hello, how are you? I deeply apologize to the audience and the guests, of course, for my delay in technology. But I'm the senior citizen type person. Technology, and I've been trying to listen in to you guys. So I had to grab my old phone, and So Lamar, I just want to go back and back up something that I heard you say, I believe, about the SNAP and the food stamp program. Let me tell you something, young man. I don't know how old you are, and I'm 67, so I've been here a long time. I came from a single parent. Okay, my dad and mom broke up when I was little, about 4 years old. It was 6 of us, and not one time did my mother go to social service or any kind of food stamps. She worked 2 and 3 jobs, and she taught all of us how to be independent. But yet she knew the struggle of the Black people during that time. She knew the struggle. Everybody, it's more white women and white families on food stamp programs than there are Black. But I've always tried to make sure I understand before I speak anything. Everybody, and everything, young man, somebody's going to take advantage of. It's nothing in the world that you're going to always have a negative, somebody taking advantage of some situation. But I know for a fact, some people need these feeding programs. They need them. Everybody's not taking advantage of those programs. And then you got young women that do get on those programs and they come off those programs. But that's something that's never repeated, never reported. Those of you get the negative is always going to be reported because the good is never going to be reported. It does help families. It does help bring families out. Yes, some of it been up there for generations. And even God, you say you're a born-again Christian. I'm a born-again Christian. Okay? I believe in Christ. You said you're born-again Christian? I was brought up believing in Christ. But I was also brought up that you help thy neighbor. I was also brought up that you feed the least. That God is saying, when you hurt the least of these, you hurt me. When you forget to feed the homeless, you forget about me. Because that's what he stood for. Go back. Now, I know I'm reading, I don't know what Bible you're reading, but I'm reading the Holy Bible. And it tells us that's what Christ walked on this earth for the least of these. He didn't walk up there for the rich and the poor. I'm not going to say that any of those presidents was perfect. Everybody got flaw. I got a flaw. You got a flaw. Walter has a flaw. So I'm not going to single out who, what, when, where, and how. But I know that there are programs that help these people. Everybody don't get off on, or what they say, get over on, whatever terminology your generation use. I remember walking downtown in Williamston and RC and looking through a window, wishing that I could go in and sit in the table and eat just like all the white folks was eating from the outside of the window. But my mother raised 6 children, 6 of us, 6 by herself, and didn't take nothing from social service, food stamps, or whatever you want to label it.
I hate to cut you off, but I told him in our family, nobody ever has been on welfare.
Never.
We didn't associate with people that were on welfare.
No. And if we
come from North Carolina,
them.
I don't know what you're talking about. I understand.
I don't know where you're getting your material from, because I come from North Carolina is a southern state. I think you said your background was a southern state. Is that correct?
No, I was born in the city of Racine, Wisconsin.
Okay, so you were born in Wisconsin. I got some relatives out that way too. But I know for a fact we weren't. We have to be careful painting a picture of people. We're thinking that they're in a box. I just had a conversation with a friend of mine. She's a white lady, and she's a good friend of mine. And the first thing came out, well, I don't have a problem with these welfare programs and stuff, but it's just that these Black girls be getting their nails done and their hair done and all that. And I had to stop her right there. I said, you know why I'm saying, let me tell you about my culture. Now, I can only speak of the culture that I grew up in. I can't speak of your culture, Lamar, but I know what I grew up in. We didn't always go to a hairstylist. We learned it. The thing about the Black woman, she learns things. We learn how to press each other's hair, to do each other's nails. And these young Black girls out here today, some of them are doing that. And these low income, y'all think they're taking their money and spending on that? No. They're learning how to go in these foreign shops and buy hair, these shops that don't pour nothing back into the Black community, period. But they learn how to do each other's hair and do each other's nail. Because one thing we was taught as young Black people and young Black children, we didn't have that much. I know what it felt like to put bag inside of my shoe if mama couldn't make ends meet and get new shoes for right now, and kept ourselves warm. She taught us, she said, I don't care if we got 1 penny and a sandwich wrapped in a bag. You walk out that door looking like you worth something. That's the way we were raised.
That's right. I can give you another example. All right. You can wear the same clothes to school every day.
Every day.
Well, as long as they're clean.
Long as you
clean underwear. That's
clean
the key.
underwear. You will iron out nice. So we have our people have dignity. This stereotype about them leeching and they not doing this and black women having all these babies. More how we can have all these children when there's more white women than it is black women. More white women. You just wait and see. See, experience will be your teacher. Life shall be your teacher. Trust me. Exactly. You can whoever you vote for, that's your choice. But life itself is going to be your teacher. I am proud of you, young man, that you wrote that book because you came from nothing. And your mom taught you well, and your father taught you well. You came, having 22 families, children in the family is not unheard of. The Hudgens has 22 children in Williamston, North Carolina. You can research it. You can go down
I didn't know that,
and ask folks about the Hudgen family. And I think the father at the time worked on a farm from a white owner. He didn't get much back, but he fed his children. And those Hudgen children was clean, and they looked good.
This is Walter, and I hope y'all guys enjoyed the episode with Paul Lamar Hunter. This is part 1. In the next episode, we have an extensive talk around child support and the legality of it. So stay tuned as we roll out part 2. We capture next. Looking forward to it. Please like, follow, and subscribe. And we need it. Everybody needs it.